Sister Sylvie, once again, thank you for joining me, making time and having these discussions with me. And we have had feedback that a lot of people have been contacting the Parental Alienation Awareness International Network, seeking advice and seeking, let's say, some consultation, seeking some form of guidance into the many issues that we have been discussing. And you were telling me about someone who has approached you for advice and for guidance on the issue of parental alienation. Now, for the purpose of those at home, those looking on, I wanted you to give me some details so that people in similar situations may, let's say, get some motivation for seeking help, or they might hear something similar so that they might hear some advice or get some guidance in their own scenarios. So can you please tell me a little bit about your recent experience with someone going through parental alienation?
Yes, recently an individual approached me and she was saying that, of course, the court has given her a restraining order, against her husband because he was violent towards her as well as the children. So, concerning parental alienation, sometimes it is very necessary for one party to keep the children away from the other side, the other party. Because if a father that is under the consumption of alcohol, under influence of alcohol, some other drug, is being violent towards the children, and the mother has a right to keep those children away from the father. Because the father could even hurt the children, not only verbal abuse, but even in a physical way. So in this case, the mother do have a right to keep the children away from the presence of the father, even communicating with him. Because once you are under an influence, an external influence, which means you are under some drugs, your mind will not be working correctly. The simple fact that you are, let's say, under the drugs or taking drugs, whatever kind it may be, alcohol or substance abuse, it means you do have a problem. Once you are an addict, you have a problem. And once you have a problem, you are going through whatever hurt or pain, sorrow inside, then this is what you're going to give to others. And you're going to express yourself in such a way that it will bring pain to others also. No one wants pain. No one wants to experience constant sorrow. No one wants to be under stress and tension. Everyone wants to be at peace. Everyone wants to be happy. So people will take the decision, whatever decision necessary, for peace, for harmony. If that includes keeping the children or keeping themselves away from an abusive relationship. So all these different situations that we are seeing in parental alienation, in some cases, not all cases would be the same. This is a specific case. And there may be one or more cases like this also. So in this case, yes, the parental alienation is very necessary. Because here you could be saving lives. Because we have heard many stories, news in the past where the father killed the children, as well as the wife, and then killed himself. Right here in Trinidad. Somewhere in the North Coast, Toco, somewhere there, they found the 2 children and a wife and a husband. It seems as though he took the 3 of them life and then took his life at the end. I'm not sure if you remember that story. So people out there are in pain, emotional pain, mental pain, who knows what they're going through. But they are not expressing themselves. They are not seeking the help that they need. And so they go and commit these heinous crimes. And the simple fact of someone committing such crimes really are revealing the pain and the hurts, sorrow that they have been going through silently. Because everyone would have thought or have said that we did not know this person to be like that. He was never like that. We always knew him to be quiet, to be kind, to be very good. It is because many people suppress their feelings. They suppress their emotions. They suppress all their thoughts and everything they suppress. All their pains, they keep it inside, especially men. I think only now men are coming out and speaking. But generally, men, or the male aspect in general, have that habit of keeping quiet with things, suppressing themselves. But that is more dangerous. It's better you speak out and let it come out and heal yourself. It's very dangerous to keep it inside of you. It's like you are minding poison. Now, each time you think about all the pains that you are going through, you are creating, causing upon yourself. It's like taking poison on a daily basis. Because every thought you create of violence, even if it's against someone, it's like you are drinking poison slowly. Because you are damaging yourself. So all these thoughts of anger, of violence, of aggression is like taking poison. So what are you doing? So yes, there are many, many cases, many people out there who are suffering and does not know where to go to find help. So what they do, they keep to themselves mostly. And they try to go through their own pains silently. But then that leads to some more dangerous outcomes, where either the wife takes her own life, and then separately the husband takes his life, or husband may take wife life and his life, or children life and then his life. So we are looking here, we are seeing a very, very dangerous situation where even if it is a mother or father, one parent who are in drugs, or who are violent for whatever reason, or aggressive for whatever reason, is a cause for concern. Is an issue that I'm not sure who have to deal with, but there should be some kind of setup where someone is able to help these violent people, violent persons. Of course, this is a more broader topic also. Violence is part of it, Violence become part of the way we live our life. And violence become part of the relationship that I have. Because many people are living in violent situations. Couples are living in violent situations. And the simple fact of someone having fear for many reasons clearly shows that he is being faced with some form of violence. Because if someone is speaking to you in a violent way on a daily basis, each time that one comes close to you, what happens to you? You feel and you think that he can hurt you physically at any moment. Because that verbal abuse, that violence that he has been projecting on a verbal level could eventually turn out to be physical. So there is a lot of fear out there also. Fear of people is one. There are many, many types of fears. Fears are of umpteen kinds. People have a lot of fears. We can talk about that in another episode. But talking today about relationships and how people are suffering, there is a silent kind of suffering because many people are out there suffering and they are not coming out in the open and revealing their suffering, not telling people, well, I have a problem, I need help. How to reach out to these kinds of people. And I think these programs are like, a very good way of reaching out to people. So yes, there is so much to talk about. And I just hope this message reached to those who are in need, those who really need this at this time. So there is always a way out. There is always someone who you can go to and talk to concerning your problems. I know also that many people, they prefer to be, let's say, more private. Whilst it is good to be private, at the same time, understand that you are suffering and the suffering that you are going through. If you are able to speak it out, you will be helping others also. Because just like you, who is suffering, I'm sure there are many others who also keep silent. So they suffer in silence. And that is the worst type of suffering. Suffering in silence is very dangerous. Because it could reach a point where you are so frustrated, you are tired of being verbally abused and even physically abused, that you reach a point where, I cannot take it anymore. This is enough. Enough is enough. I have to do something about it. And it's either wife kill husband or husband kill wife. That's the point it reaches. So this silent suffering is very dangerous for both sides and even the children. Because when there is such kind of suffering, then each one think about themselves the most. I cannot handle this suffering. For how long more it will continue? This is the way people talk. And here you have maybe one or two children in that suffering also. Because children are looking at their parents and they are aware that their parents are going through tough times, hard times. They have problems, but small children cannot do anything about it. But let's say a wife is suffering because her husband is abusing her, maybe physically or verbally. Children cannot do anything about it. Then mother decides to take her life because it's too much for her, without thinking about the children that she's going to leave behind. And who knows that these children that she will leave behind might have to endure the same thing that she went through. Because we have heard, situations where father physically abuses his children. It do happen. So before we take any decision, any suffering person have to think about the past, present, and the future of that relationship. The past meaning, okay, you have taken that decision. You have taken that decision to be with this person for the rest of your life. If it did not turn out to be the way you want it, before it gets bad and worse, seek help. Whether it's through government programs or community programs or personal, private things, but seek help before it gets worse to such an extent that the relationship is dead in the sense that there is violence and murder and so on. So before it reaches that point, I think people should start seeking help. Either to better the relationship, to heal the relationship, to come out of it so it can continue better. And if it cannot continue better, then take decisions, make decisions to sever such relationships, because it is not worth living in such a relationship. It is not worth living in an environment that is causing you pain. And pain is not only physical, pain is emotional, pain is mental. Pain can even be spiritual, because you do not have the power to even seek the support, the guidance that you want. Because if you decide to go and seek help, the Your other partner might tell you, well, you're looking for someone else outside. It's so many things involved, too many things are involved. Because there's a lot of insecurity out there. Men are very insecure. Most men are very insecure of their wives. And of course, wives also are very insecure of their husbands. Because both think that, okay, when they go out there, they're looking for someone else. Men mostly think, very insecure of their wives. So, and it leads to more problems. Because once a wife goes out, sometimes she goes shopping, the husband might think, as they say here in this colloquial Trinidadian language, you're going to look for man. That's the first thing comes to their mind, which may or may not be truth. Let's say you need something in the home, some vegetables or something, you go out to buy it. Neighbors may see you going out. What they do? They start gossiping. She is going out, or she goes out too often. Where is she going? And even they start thinking and talking, gossiping. And all of these things lead to more controversies in relationships. It leads to more conflict. So instead of we help each other to come out of problems, what we are doing by gossiping is actually pushing people more into pain and sorrow and suffering. If you see the neighbor going out too often or going out with someone who you don't know, okay, you go and approach them directly or with some closer member of the family instead of gossiping with the rest of the community. Approach them. If you are mature enough, give them a word of advice. And if you can give them a good word of advice and they would, whether they accept it or not, you just leave it like that. You did your part as a community person to help that individual. And if it did not work, then we say let them fight their battle. But seeking help is so important. Getting help for your problems is very important, necessary. Because you're not only helping yourself, you're helping the other individual who is suffering. And what happens normally is that someone else, another person, may not have the ability to understand what another suffering person is going through. Let's say someone is an alcoholic or a drug abuse, drugs or substance abuse addict. So we do not know what caused those individuals to go down that path. But something would have triggered it. And normally is either some form of frustration. Some people, because they feel rejected in their homes, they're not receiving the love or the attention that they want. And there are many, many situations that would push people out. And this will lead them to drug abuse, substance abuse, and will of course then get bad. So it means that that individual had been suffering from some kind of, whether it's mental rejections, emotional problems, some problem that would have led them to that point. So it clearly shows that these people need help. Yes, so we advise people that if you're going through whatever situation, whether it's mental, whether it's emotional, whether it's an abusive situation, please seek help. And you can go wherever you feel is comfortable for you, whether it's a government facility, government institutions, or even spiritual or religious persons. But do seek help, because you can be helping not only yourself, but a whole family. And those who are connected to your family. So many people will get help by you seeking help. So now I invite you into a small reflection. We're going to look at ourselves, see what is happening in our minds, see how we can heal our minds by simply contemplating and by being aware of what is happening within us. So I ask you to sit comfortably in a quiet place and just take the next few minutes for yourself. And as you sit in this quiet and serene state of mind, just think about yourself. Think about what is happening within you, in your mind. What is causing all these thoughts, whether it is violent thoughts, whether it is thoughts of committing heinous crimes. Why am I creating such thoughts? And is that really the solution? And as I continue reflecting, I begin to realize that being violent towards myself or towards others is not the solution to any problem. But going deep into the situation, the matter, understanding the individual or individuals who are displaying violent attitudes, a violent nature, seeing what the problem they are facing and how we can help them. And as I begin to understand myself, I naturally begin to understand the other individual, understanding that he is going through his own pains, his own sufferings, his own sorrow, his own hurts, and he is not able to get out of it without help. And I, being his companion, his spouse, the one who he depends on for his love, for his affection, for his attention, I am the one who should help him to heal his hurts and pains. Because if I love someone, I will not like to see that one suffer. I will not like to see someone who I love going through pains and hurts and sorrows. I take it up as my duty to help that one to get over his pains. Because I understand that once he is able to overcome his own pains and sorrows, then his healing, his happiness, his peace will also bring about peace, harmony, and happiness in the home. As a partner to my companion, it is my duty to help heal that one. Thank you.
Ampex Limited, networking societies for a better future.